everybody please take your seats? We'll get started in just a minute. Okay. Are we? We're good on the. Okay. We're good on the AV. Good. Right. Well. Good evening, and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Surbiton Neighbourhood Committee at Glenmore House. Particularly warm welcome to those members of the public with us tonight. I'm Councillor Tom Reeve, and I'm chairing the meeting tonight. In the event of an emergency and the sounding of an alarm, the emergency evacuation procedure is to leave the hall by the fire exit, the one behind you, and congregate in the car park. Anyone requiring assistance should remain in their seats, and you'll be helped from the building. Anyone who wishes to follow the agenda from their tablet or smartphone can do so by going to the Council's website and following the links to Your Council and Council meeting calendar. This meeting is being filmed for live broadcast on the Council's YouTube channel, yes, and an archived version will be available to view on the channel after the meeting finishes. The broadcast will be suspended during any adjournments and proceedings, and if the committee resolves to consider information as exempt business. Members are reminded that microphones must be switched on and spoken into clearly for the broadcast. And please, can everyone present at the meeting also ensure that their mobile phones are switched off and in silent mode for the duration of this meeting. So I'd like to start by inviting members to introduce themselves. And if I could start with the members opposite me. Right, okay. Would you like to go ahead, Councillor Yoganathan? Introductions.
Oh, introduction.
Yes.
He knows me anyway.
Yeah.
I'm Councillor Yoganathan. I've been here for too long.
Right.
I'm waiting to hear all of yours. But please talk to the point. Yeah? Thank you.
Right. Shall we carry on?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Councillor Alison Holt, and I represent Surbiton Hill Ward.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Jackie Davis. I'm a ward member for Berrylands.
Hi, I'm Councillor Ian Manders. I'm 65 years old, and I'm a representative of Alexandra Ward, and I'm also portfolio holder for climate action and sustainable transport.
And I'm Councillor Peter Hurlinger. I'm also a councillor for Alexandra Ward.
Yeah, hi, I'm Andrew Waldridge, councillor for Tolworth, and I'm 64 tomorrow.
Mariana Gonçalves from Tolworth.
Thank you, councillors. And we also have officers present tonight who will be giving various reports later on. So moving on to item one of, oh yes, thank you. Actually, before I move on to item one, I just wanted to make a brief announcement on the Tolworth Area Healthy Street Scheme. Basically, after the committee considered the item on the 20th of September, Highways officers have confirmed to me and ward members that there will be a consultation, 4-week consultation starting in January, and a report will be brought back to the committee in March of next year. So thank you for that. Item number one, we move on to public questions. This is a period of no more than 30 minutes for questions on matters relevant to the committee. We like to encourage questions to be submitted in advance so that officers have an opportunity to draft some answers for them, although that's not absolutely necessary. So I believe we have seven people lined up to ask questions. And I would like to invite each one to ask a question, and then you'll be given an opportunity to ask a supplementary question if you like. Any subsequent questions you may have will be considered only after all other residents have had the opportunity to ask their questions first, if time allows. To allow all residents the opportunity to ask at least one question, please keep your questions under 2 minutes and be as concise as possible. If you wish to preface the question with a statement, be brief and to the point, please. Herman, our Democratic Services Officer, will inform you when 30 seconds are left and when your time is up. So I have Alex Oakes, right, I'm missing one, Liz Mitchell, Carol Buchanan, Graham Hare, Andy Elmer, and Carlos de Arriba. So if I could ask Alex Oakes to come to the table. Oh, okay, right, okay, double team, double act. Okay, and right, have we started the clock? Right, okay, fine.
So my question is related to the consultation on the Tolworth Healthy Street Scheme that you mentioned a few minutes ago. So at the September meeting of this committee, you agreed to measures on Thornhill Road, Tolworth Road and Douglas Road, zebra crossings. The Highways Officer, the chair of this committee and the portfolio holder all confirmed that these measures did not address the underlying issue of through traffic for the area that you've promised to try and fix. Is it usual for council to spend taxpayers' money on widely acknowledged ineffective measures, yes or no?
Okay, well, thank you very much for your question. I'm not sure I accept the premise of your question, especially in terms of yes or no, but I will say it's no, it's not the council's habit to do that. All I would say is that we never, I don't believe the council, and the highways officer can correct me, but I don't believe the council's ever promised to do anything about through traffic in the neighbourhood, because that is beyond our powers. And as we've explained many times in answer to previous questions on this matter, much of this depends on, is in the gift of TfL. And we, I think at the last meeting, we detailed some of the constraints that we were facing in dealing with TfL and the timeline that they had indicated to us in terms of to the highways team, that they'd indicated to the highways team as to when they would even be willing to sit down and discuss the matter with us, let alone actually address it. The rest of the Healthy Street Scheme, various proposals that are being put forward for consideration, are designed in line with the objectives of the Healthy Street Schemes, which is to make our neighbourhoods more enjoyable, easier to use for pedestrians, cyclists, children, etc. Basically to make them more people-friendly, and not tilt the balance a little bit away from car usage. So that's what we're setting out to do. That's what we'll be consulting upon, and hopefully that's where we'll get to in the end. Did you have a supplementary question?
Yep. So you say that you want to make my road safer by implication of what you just said. This afternoon, during the school collection time, 4 massive empty coaches went past my front door within 20 minutes. Is this the sort of rat-running traffic that you think will be deterred by a zebra crossing, yes or no?
Again, sorry, would you like to? Councillor Manders.
Okay. I think when this question or similar question was asked last time, I think from Liz, and I agree. This wasn't about the quantity of managing the quantity of traffic in those roads. This was about road safety, And that's what these measures are, and that and the 20-mile-an-hour limit as well. So, there is a difference between measures that reduce the quantity of traffic and measures that also basically improve safety in terms of measures like crossings and so on. And I do see a distinction, Chair, between the two methods or the two objectives. Now, you could argue that there is some relationship between quantity and safety, but this is some way anyway with these crossings that we can help alleviate anyway the issue of high traffic levels at certain times of the day for the benefit of pedestrians. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Councillor Manders, and thank you very much, Mr. Oakes. If I move on to Ms. Mitchell, please.
Thank you, Chair. Again, regarding the Tolworth area Healthy Streets program, I refer to the Healthy Streets assessment undertaken by Highways in regards to the Tolworth Road streets, and that was reported on at the September meeting. In that assessment, officers rated total volume of two-way traffic of less than 500 vehicles per hour at peak would be considered low. That's 500 vehicles per hour, or equivalent to 8.3 vehicles every minute. So following an FOI request to TfL regarding this assessment, TfL confirmed that, and I quote, "There is no benchmarking associated with the Healthy Streets check. Therefore, why did officers choose the figure of 500 vehicles per hour? Indeed, they state other criteria such as noise levels, number of large vehicles, speed, etc. Yet these numbers are not based on any TfL data or guidance. They are based on the officer's own criteria. TfL guidance, however, suggests asking residents and users of roads for their perceptions. No one on our road was asked for their opinion. So not only did officers come up with their own set of benchmarks, but they also didn't ask people using the roads, therefore not following the Healthy Streets approach. Is it fair and accurate that this happens? Yes or no?"
Okay, well, thank you very much for your question. Eunice.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, I'm rather surprised TfL indicates such a response, because it's their Healthy Street indicators, the one I refer to in my September report. And I will be very pleased to take this issue with TfL, because they are criticizing themselves, not criticizing us as an authority, as an officer. And I can assure you, all the measurement, all everything we've done, it was based on the TfL Healthy Street indicators, which clearly it says anything within 500, it is low. So, and that is what I refer to, and I could be challenged, and I'm happy to be challenged on that matter as well.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Eunice. Did you have a supplementary question? Oh, sorry, did you have a supplementary question?
I did, yes. I'm just reading it, and I think I've got my wrong glasses. No,
okay.
I do. I've got the right ones.
Okay.
The joys.
Uh-huh.
You mentioned tonight that the consultation process is going to commence.
Oh, sorry, this supplementary questions are supposed to be related to the original question.
Oh.
So if you don't have a question related to the original question, I'd like to, I'd ask you to yield the floor to the next questioner, please.
The question is, will the same guidelines be used for the Berrylands Healthy Streets?
I think the answer from the Highways team is yes.
Right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Could I ask Carol Buchanan, please? Shall I come up there? Yes, yes, please. We need you to speak into the microphone for the purposes of the people watching online. Okay, so thank you. As we said, there'll be 2 minutes. Thank you.
Right. This is a question related to the Healthy Streets proposals, and in particular the modal filter scheme on King Charles Road. In the interests of ensuring decisions made by this committee are informed by an accurate evidence base, what data is being collected by the council in order to inform evidence-based decision-making, in particular, data related to safety issues?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that question. The report is due to be presented to a future meeting of the committee, which will contain all the evidence and data, which in the opinion of our professional highways engineers is necessary for the committee to reach an informed decision on the matter before it. So, do you have a supplementary question to that?
Well, no, I don't have a supplementary question. I just wanted to know what evidence base is going to be used. I mean, I accept that there would be an evidence base, I'm imagining anyway, but I'm just interested whether or not it's related to, say, number of cars or whatever, or whether it's, and to ensure that it includes safety as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I refer that to Eunice, please?
Thank you, Chair. We will be looking into the traffic data before and after. We will be looking to collision, if there is any collision during this period, before and after. And we will be examining if there is any road safety issue has been generated. So it's a combination of things we need to look into that. But as we haven't yet started working on that, but it will be a lot of other elements we need to make sure. We'll be basing it on the healthy street indicators as well, in order to make sure whatever we have does meet that, and we're still, at the end of the day, whatever decision or recommendation, it will be based on road safety.
Right, thank you. And so that was a clarification of your question. Did you have a supplementary question?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
No,
thank you very much for
Eunice,
thank you very much for coming and asking your question.
You're welcome.
Right, could I ask Graham Hare to come next, please?
Let's make sure that's okay. Yeah, okay. Right. Good evening, everybody. So my question is kind of a search for clarity, and I don't mean that in the Zen sense. So later this evening, as we know, the council is due to receive both petitions relating to King Charles Road. In mid-October, however, we were informed that this will be taking place in February. The reason being that the report from the highways team would not be available. This seemed reasonable, although frustrating, so we tried to make Berrylands residents aware of this as best as we could. And then a week ago, we were suddenly told that the petitions would be received tonight instead. But there is still no highways report, and in addition, we were recently told that the petition signatures are still being verified. This therefore means that a debate based upon full information just is not possible tonight, and therefore neither is a decision, as Mr. Reeve just said. So under these circumstances, I would suggest that making a full presentation of the petition later this evening, followed by any discussion, will be a waste of time, really, for everybody concerned. So my question really is, can the council please therefore confirm that the intention tonight is just to formally receive the petitions without a debate at this time, you don't have the information, and that in February, when the highways report is available, both petitioners will be allowed time to present fully so that there can then be an informed debate and a decision at that time.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Hare. Okay. Sorry. Right. So the simple answer is that there's been a change. There was a change in advice. And we decided that they needed to be taken, they needed to be presented to this meeting. That doesn't affect anything else that's going to follow that we previously discussed. It will still be coming back. The plan is for this to come back to the February meeting with an officer's report, and for there to be discussion, input from residents, discussion and debate amongst councillors.
But both petitioners can still present fully in February. That's the key question.
Right. Yes, and that's in the Sorry, thank you. And the amount of time that you get is within the gift of the chair. And I will say that my commitment to you, my previous commitment to you stands. So
Right.
we'll.
So
we'll
forgive
give
me if
you.
I repeat that back to make sure I'm not misinterpreting anything.
No,
So
indeed.
in February, both petitioners will still get a full 5 minutes to present the
Yes.
petitions. There will then be an informed debate with the Highways report and a verified count, and the decision will be taken at that time.
All of the above decisions can be deferred. I can't promise anything at the February meeting, but a decision will be taken at the February meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So full
So
present.
I hope that makes sense in terms of the process.
I'm
Yeah.
unpacking it. Yes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay. So we do get a chance to come back, make a full presentation, and there will be an informed debate because the Highways report will
Yes.
be available.
Yes. Indeed.
Good.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I do have a
Okay.
supplementary
And
question.
do you have the supplement?
I
Yes.
do. So if we're going to redo this in February, and that's great, thank you, what would be the point in debating at this time with partial information? No point. I think the council should discuss and agree to defer the whole thing.
Okay, and in fact, we're not debating it tonight. We're just receiving the petitions, giving you a chance to speak to the committee.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, hope that's good. Okay, thank you. Could I ask, is Andy Elmer here? Yes, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And for the record, I was 75 last week.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. My question is about, guess what, the King Charles Road LTN. We've had a number of plebiscites over the years, lots of surveys, several petitions, and we'll be hearing more about those. And the majority, if not just about all of those petitions and surveys and whatever, have shown opposition to the LTN. And my question really is about the way in which the decisions have been made on those various bits of evidence. Can I be assured that the former members of this committee and the existing ones are happy that all the principles of the Nolan principles have been observed during those decision-making? In particular, if you look at the objectivity ones, you know these backwards, I'm sure, I do, and the accountability ones in particular, do suggest that decisions have to be taken using the best evidence without discrimination or bias. There has to be accountability to the public, and I just want an assurance that you are happy that all that has happened.
Okay, well, and thank you very much for your question. In my view, all of the Nolan principles, everything we do follows the Nolan principles. We all sign up to that as part of being councillors, and we endeavour to follow them at all times. As far as I'm concerned, yes is the answer to your question. We have followed the Nolan principles, which are selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership. And I believe that all of those have been followed throughout the process. In 2021, for example, when the modal filter on King Charles Road was made permanent, all of that was done that was all done in an open meeting with reports which were available prior to the meeting for members of the public to scrutinise. So everything was done in the most open and transparent way possible. Yes is the answer. But do you have a supplementary question?
I don't. I'm just glad to get that on record. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. And we have Carlos de Arriba. Thank you. Hello and welcome to the committee.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I think we have exchanged emails. I'm a resident in Maryland Road, and the question is the following. As I understand, Kingston Borough is focused on ensuring that all streets and pavement, they are accessible and that they are compliant with all the duties to make sure that we have safe passage. And Kingston is compliant to have, it's a marmot borough to focus on improved health outcomes. We have a situation where we have been complaining for years about a specific location in our street where we are seeing a specific incident of a building repeatedly fly tipping in the same spot again and again. And if you go right now to the street, 18 Maryland Road, there is a pile of garbage right now. We have been reporting, we have exchanged emails, and we feel defenseless. So a very simple question, as a citizen, as a neighbor, what are my tools? Do I have to sue the council? Do I have to call the police? Because I feel like we are defenseless. So the question is, what are my options? I've complained many times.
Right. Well, thank you very much. I'd say regarding, it is an issue I'm very familiar with, and I've taken a...
And it's a very specific, just to point out, sorry to interrupt, it's a very identified location. It's not like around the neighborhood, it's like one building.
Yes, indeed. And so the question is, what can you do about it? What are the tools? We have a number of methods for dealing with it. I think I have said before when talking about this issue that there's the fly tipping hotline reporting tool that we have on our website, and the service level agreement for that is, I believe, 24 hours, but in practice, I find it is actually much faster than that. I've reported just about every fly tip that I've ever reported personally has been cleared within a matter of hours. So I find that works very well. In reference to that particular location, I know that at least one fine has been issued to somebody in response to, because evidence was found there on the site. It's slightly complicated by the fact that some of the land there is private property, and the council doesn't have any authority when you're on private property, as opposed, even though it looks the same, even though it looks like the pavement, there's actually part of it's private property and part of it is public footpath. And when it's purely on private property, the council has much more limited powers to deal with those issues. And you can raise, if you feel there's a persistent issue that's not being dealt with, you can raise a complaint to the council, a formal complaint to the council, setting out the reasons why you consider that, the grounds for your complaint. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it doesn't at all, right? Because if I repeat what you're saying, you are directing me to report fly tipping. I feel this works fine when there is a one-off incident, because you report the fly tipping. But we, the neighbors, feel like we are almost like being the assistant of this landlord that is misbehaving constantly, and they don't want to bother to dispose the trash bin. They just dump it into the street, and it's not in the private land, it's on the pavement, public pavement. And we need to make the effort to every time go to the computer and bother to report. What an easy life for someone, right? You just throw the garbage through the window and hope someone is going to report. There's absolutely no consequence whatsoever. So I appreciate the issue of the alternative of having a complaint. I've already raised it. My question is, you know about this location specifically, without telling me about, please report the fly tipping, because actually we are actually incentivizing the misbehavior. Every time that someone fly tips, magically the magic ferry is like dispose the garbage. The supplementary question is, what is specifically the council doing to address this specific underlying issue with this landlord? Because we have evidence, have probably 20 or 25 emails addressed to you personally as proof, so it's not something that is as a surprise. What is the council specifically doing against this landlord that is, whatever is doing, maybe there is no location inside the building enough to dispose the garbage, maybe the frequency is not high enough, there is absolutely no investigation about how we can really tackle the underlying issue. So don't tell us report, because it makes us very...
Okay, yes, right, thank you. Well, thank you. All I can say is that we do have an enforcement officer who has been around several times, who has been investigating the issue there, and is trying to find some resolution. But I will take this away and look into it further.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Right. So I'm told we have 5 minutes left in the our question time session. Is there anybody who wanted to ask another question from the people who have spoken tonight? I don't see any hands going up, so I will take that as a no. Thank you very much for all of your questions, and we will now move on to the rest of our agenda. Thank you. So, second item on the agenda is petitions. Now, this is petitions that we receive at this committee meeting, and so that effectively not the other two that we already have on the agenda. So we don't have any, no notice of intention to submit the other petitions has been received. Apologies for absence. So do we have any apologies for absence, Roman?
Thank you, Chair. Apologies for absence received from Councillors Anita Shaper, Tay Thailand, and Diane White.
Okay, and I can also say that Councillor Green is running late. She's been delayed on LGA business, but expects to be here shortly. Okay, so thank you very much. Now, do we have any declarations of interest? These are members are asked to declare any disclosable pecuniary interests or other registrable or non-registrable interests relevant to items on the agenda. So do members have any declarations of interest? Okay, thank you very much. I'll take that as a no. And moving on, we have item 5 is the minutes. Minutes of the meeting held on 12th of October have been circulated to members earlier. There was a suggestion by Democratic Services to correct the following 3 points in the minutes before approval. So on page 1, minute 24, public questions need to replace lower traffic neighborhood by modal traffic filter. On the same page, third paragraph, etc. I think adding an S to healthy streets, and in the same paragraph, replacing accept by accepting. Right. The members agreed to confirm the minutes as amended as a correct record.
Agreed.
Right. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. And ONS. Welcome, Councillor Green. Right. Just need to ask you if you had any disclosable interest relevant to tonight's. No. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So we'll now move on to item 6, which was the community grants program, and this will be handled by James Geach, our neighbourhood manager.
Thank you, Chair. Once again, I'm here to present applications from the Community Grants Programme, and a report for that purpose has been appended as Appendix A. The first of these, and they're both neighbourhood community grants, is from Momentum Children's Charity. And as you can see on the dashboard in paragraph 5, the applicant meets all the minimum requirements of the programme. Unfortunately, I was informed this afternoon the applicant can't attend this evening, but they have asked the committee to consider the application in their absence. You can see a summary of the application is set out below the dashboard in paragraphs 6, 7, 8 and 9. The aim of the programme is set out in the last paragraph, paragraph 12, which talks about how the project is intending to improve the emotional well-being of the families being supported, and that the £300 will be used to support families over the Christmas period. I have the case files at hand. I'm happy to field any questions the committee may have. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, well, thank you. And I understand that the applicants have said they've missed several of the attempts to come to the committee. Are they saying that they won't be able to come to? They basically won't be able to come to a future committee meeting.
Not before this programme is due to start, unfortunately, Chair.
Okay, right. Okay, so in light of that, I'd say, and given the relatively small amount of money involved, I just suggest that we do go ahead and discuss it, debate it, and take a decision. So I just move from the chair the recommendation, the application for £300 neighbourhood community grant from Momentum Children's Charity, as set out in paragraphs 5 to 12 of the report, be approved. Do I have a second for that?
Happy to second, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. So if there are members of the committee who wish to speak, could you please raise your hand? You can ask questions of the neighbourhood manager. Okay, have there been no questions? I'll go ahead and have a vote. Can I take that as unanimous, or does the committee wish to go to a vote? Oh, yes, Councillor Yoganathan.
Yes, Chair. Yes, I think Momentum is a pretty good charity, and I know it's a relatively small amount. And we do normally like them to see it, but with the time frame and everything, we are happy to agree, provided they come and tell us how they have performed the coming things to our committee. That's the only condition I was attached to. Otherwise, I'm agreeing.
Right, okay, thank you. Thank you, Councillor. Are there any further comments from members? Okay. So can I take this as unanimous, or does the committee wish to go to a vote? Unanimous? Okay, that's agreed. Thank you very much. And then we move on to the next item, the second grant.
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is a much larger application from Man and Boy to support their positive family programme. We're very fortunate to be joined by Mr. Luca McEvely, who's very kindly agreed to talk through the application and to take any questions the committee may have. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. Is your microphone... Sorry, can I just check your microphone? Oh, now. It is now.
Apologies. Pleasure to meet you all. My name is Luke McKelvey. I'm the Development Manager at Man and Boy. For the last 10 years, Man and Boy has been supporting local families from separated backgrounds to reach positive outcomes through mentoring, group activities, and high-quality enrichment. All of the families that we're working with are monitored under a Child in Need plan, and all of the children are recipients of free school meals, which is a key indicator of childhood poverty in the UK. In the last 6 to 12 months, we've received a significantly increased number of families have been referred for support from Child and Family Services in relation to the conditions they're facing, especially in regards to the cost of living crisis. In relation to my application, I have put forward for £3,000 to support 3 families through the Positive Families programme. This programme would include high-quality enrichment activities to support confidence building, including climbing, kayaking, and professional mentoring for families to come together and actually develop and communicate and gain confidence. It's essential to enable children to gain confidence and improve their family bonds at this critical time in their lives. Children that grow up within separated families often face withdrawal from academic institutions going forward due to withdrawal from a lack of positive role models. Now, Man and Boy, we have been working in the local community for 10 years. We are an impact-orientated organisation. All of the families that we are working with are surveyed before, during, and after completing our activities. The aim of this is to gain that impact data so we can highlight to the wider community our positive impact. We will produce impact reports and case studies to highlight to wider community groups the high quality contribution that this fund has made to our local community. Furthermore, I have put forward a relatively substantial application, £3,000, but all of our programs are 100% sustainable and scalable after 12 months. By conducting this impact and evaluation process, we've been able to highlight our positive community impact to a wide range of trusts and foundations, delivery companies, and to wider grant funders. And by undertaking this approach, we can ensure this grant is not only an investment, but contributes to generations of families going forward, and that's what we're looking to do. We're a key part of the charitable fabric of this borough, and we work in collaboration with a number of charitable organisations that are known to the committee, such as the Kingston Charitable Foundation. Thank you very much. I welcome any questions. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. McKelvey. Right. Do members have any questions for the applicant? Anybody would like to indicate that they have questions? Okay, one. Councillor Waldridge, please.
Hi, evening. How many would you say go through the process with your charity? How many? Yeah.
We look to support an additional 30 families every year. Last year, we supported 120 families. You know, it costs £1,000 to support each family through the programme. We understand that's relatively significant, but it is a year of support, and we provide ongoing activities afterwards. It's very important for us to support these families because they do face so many barriers to positive relations, that we provide opportunities to access a positive community and inclusive and positive friendships going forward. So, you know, all of the families we work with, they are supported as long as possible, as long as they need us, essentially.
One supplementary. Percentage change upwards in the last year, would you say?
Well, I mean, I've worked for Man and Boy for about 18 months. And when we started, we had a 2-month waiting list. It's now, you know, up to 4 to 6 months in a waiting list because, you know, we are securing an increase in grants and opportunities, but the need is so great. And because we are a referral organisation, we're receiving referrals from Child and Family Services, but also other charitable organisations as well that identify families as needing additional support and so refer us, and we have a significant backlog in line with that because we don't want to turn anybody down. We would like to include everybody that needs our support, but it's just the nature also of the funding within the United Kingdom. I think in general we are successful, but, you know, for example, putting forward applications for £10,000, recently I've noticed they've been knocked down to sort of 7.5, maybe 5, so that also has a knock-on impact. But again, we're always looking to expand in relation to need.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Councillor Holt.
Thank you for coming along and presenting this. I think it sounds like a great thing to be doing. My only slight question is, you say it's Man and Boy, so does that mean that it's just that cohort that you're supporting? Because you say families within, you know, but it's also the name of your organisation. So I'm not saying I support one, you know, support or not support that. It's just an observation, a question in my mind.
I totally understand. I get that question a lot. And it's totally understandable because I think that the organisation itself has been going since the 90s. And in that time, we've progressed significantly, and I think that there is or was a focus on separated families, men not being included within the raising of children. And so it was very much a focus on that. However, it's a fully inclusive organisation. We focus on providing gender equality as well, and we do include, obviously, mothers within the delivery of our programme. So it's not a pure focus on just men and boys. And I believe actually the next year you will be seeing a change in our marketing and naming as well in line with that. But it's just something that I think because it's essentially three of us, often part-time workers as well, to put forward these changes, it just takes some time. But yeah.
Do we have any further questions from councillors? Okay. Thank you very much for presenting and answering our questions. If you'd like to, you can return to your seat if you like, and we're going to then we have a chance to debate.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll now move from the chair the following recommendation: that the application for £3,000 of neighbourhood community grant from Man and Boy Charity, set out in paragraphs 13 to 18 of the report, be approved. Do I have a second?
Happy to second, Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And would members of the committee who wish to speak please indicate by raising your hand? Okay. There being no comments or debate, bring it to resolution to vote. Can I take that as unanimous, or does the committee wish to vote? Okay, well, that is approved unanimously. Thank you very much for coming tonight, and and good luck with your charity.
Thank you very much. We look forward to submitting our results upon completion within a year.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you again for coming. Right, so now move on to item 7. So this is in relation to the petitions on King Charles, regarding the King Charles Road modal traffic filter. We have 2 petitions on the agenda this evening, which we've invited the petition organisers to present in accordance with the petition scheme. They're not scheduled to be debated tonight. It is intended that a further report will be brought to the meeting in February 2024, and the petitioners would have a further opportunity to address the meeting about the proposals under the provisions of the Constitution for public speaking. So I'd like to invite the organiser of the first petition, Graham Hare, to come forward and present the petition for up to 5 minutes. Herman will let you know when there's 1 minute left and when your time is up. So welcome back, Mr. Hare.
Thank you. Thank you. So, as I said earlier, it's a little bit of a surprise to be presenting our position tonight rather than in February, but here we are, so here we go. So I did say our petition, not my petition. I might have been the person who formally raised this on the council website, but I'm part of a group of residents spread across Berrylands who have come together on this issue. You will have seen that our petition has gathered over 2,000 signatures, and I can tell you that feelings in the area are running very high. Since it has now been made clear that the debate will take place in February, I'll just make a few points as I introduce the petition formally at this time. Firstly, I think it's clear to anyone who understands what happened back in July 2021 meeting that the barrier should not have been made permanent at all. All evidence and advice made available to the council at that time was pointing in the opposite direction. The decision was scandalous, frankly. At that meeting, it was resolved that the scheme be monitored with additional traffic and air quality data being collected and an update report be brought to the committee for consideration after 12 months. That never happened. And here we are over a year later. In the answers to the questions we've raised at the last couple of SNC meetings, we've heard so-called benefits suggested as the barrier, being a nice place to stand and meet and drink coffee, or as acting as a community focal point. Alexandra Park, 20 feet away, meets both of these needs, Being able to stand in the road is not a justification for the issues caused throughout the rest of Berrylands. And some of the cyclists we'd spoken to en route have in fact described this meeting point as an obstruction. With an average of only 2 incidents a year, King Charles Road has never been an accident black spot, and there's been no increase or decrease in traffic incidents since the introduction of the barrier. Any safety concerns there can be addressed with a pedestrian light and a speed camera instead of blocking off the road. Blocking off the road is not necessary. By contrast, over the same period, Rayburn Avenue had 1 accident prior to the installation of the barrier and 5 accidents since. Thanks to the barrier, the 450 metres, yes, 450 metres south of King Charles Road is now traffic-free. However, cut-through traffic has been displaced through the rest of Berrylands, resulting in increased traffic volumes, pollution and noise for the much, much wider Berrylands community. And that includes roads that have schools and bus routes. Thousands of cars, 3,000 cars, nearly 3,000 cars are cutting through Berrylands in that 12-hour period surveyed. The increased use of Hollyfield, Elgar and Rayburn by residential traffic has further exacerbated this problem, as residents are now denied use of the South King Charles Road as one of the main Berrylands exit and entry points. All of this can be seen in the council survey data. And just using Rayburn as an example, 3,000 cars go in and out of Rayburn during that 12-hour period. National statistics and a little bit of arithmetic will tell you that traffic throughout Berrylands could be expected to be about 50% higher if it were not for the increase in people working from home at the moment. The barrier's just not provided any benefits to the wider Berrylands area, only traffic problems. So I look forward to expanding on all of these points fully, together with the supporting evidence in February, and I'm sure we're very much looking forward to seeing this highways report. We can then have a properly informed discussion that this topic and the huge number of residents invested in this issue deserve, with all of the arguments then fresh in our minds. The much heralded and much delayed traffic master plan needs our properly considered input to be viable. It became very apparent during the petition process that very many residents feel that this committee is simply not interested in their views. Most of you here were not part of that decision in 2021, thank you. But you have the chance to show that you do in fact listen to your residents. 2,000 people have made their views plain. And you can now make the right decision rather than hang on to an untenable situation. We look forward very much to discussing this fully in February. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Hare. I now invite the representative of the organizer of the second petition, Dr. Elizabeth McGill, to come forward to present the petition for up to 5 minutes. Herman will let you know when there is 1 minute left and the time is up. Thank you.
Great.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I'm here today to speak on behalf of the residents who have strongly voiced their support.
Oh, sorry. Is the microphone closed?
It's on? Yes. Great,
yeah,
okay.
Yes, it's on now.
Yep, so
okay.
I'll begin again.
Reset the timer and start again.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm here to speak on behalf of the residents who have strongly voiced their support for retaining the low-traffic neighbourhood on King Charles Road. I'm going to highlight the health impacts, the impacts on health and social inequalities, as well as the opportunity to use the modal filter to continue to propel changes that create better neighbourhoods for everybody. As you're all aware of the physical geography of King Charles Road...
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Can I request that members of the audience remain silent while we hear from this person?
Thank you.
It's only polite, and everybody was quiet while Mr. Hare was speaking.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
I will. So as you're all aware, the physical geography of King Charles Road is a long, narrow hill running parallel to Yule Road. Prior to the implementation of the modal filter, the large number of cars utilizing the road led to idling traffic in an extremely narrow space. As a result, there were high levels of air pollution. According to 2019 Imperial College data, King Charles Road was in the top 1% of all UK postcodes for levels of pollution. I think everybody can agree that nobody should be exposed to levels of pollution like that in the face of such levels of pollution, it's legitimate to take action, and that these levels cannot be allowed to return. In addition, King Charles Road was notorious for vehicles speeding downhill, and that does cause injury to people and property. In speaking to my fellow residents, I've heard countless stories of how before the modal filter was installed, parents would drive their children to school, despite school just being a few short blocks away, and residents didn't utilize the parks to the extent that they would like to because of fear of crossing King Charles Road. The King Charles Road modal filter is particularly well placed because it has reduced traffic alongside 3 vital and health-promoting community infrastructures: a very popular playground, 2 thriving green spaces, and a future school. And it's this highly unique position that deserves to be protected. Reduced traffic emissions are beneficial to everybody, but they are particularly important to children, who are at the most risk of negatory respiratory impacts. In addition, children are some of our most vulnerable road users, and they require physical designs to their road spaces that allow them to be safe in their environments. And the modal filter has created such an environment. By reducing traffic on King Charles Road, children and local residents have benefited from significantly cleaner air and a far safer road. As the playground, the parks, and the future school are currently spaces utilized by lots of children and will continue to be spaces utilized by lots of children, retaining the filter allows them to live, to grow, to play, and to learn in an environment that is health promoting. Proponents of removing the modal filter have suggested that the benefits accrue only to those living on King Charles Road, and this is simply not the case. I've had numerous conversations with people that do not live on King Charles Road, some of whom are here tonight, and they have benefited from the changes. Children are safe now scooting or walking to school, including my own children. People can walk safely to the playground. Residents of all ages are cycling on the street, and dog walkers are safely taking their pets to the park. But we do want to ensure that these benefits are replicated for all residents of Barrier Islands. We're also concerned about the potential impacts of removing the modal filter on social and health inequalities. King Charles Road is characterized by socioeconomic diversity, which we can see in the mixed housing tenure. There's social housing, rented accommodation, and owner-occupied houses. And this contrasts much of the rest of Barrier Islands. Respiratory illnesses, such as asthma, are much more prevalent in poorer communities, and children from disadvantaged groups are much more likely to expose to the triggers triggers that cause asthma, like air pollution. So King Charles Road modal filter is a means to reduce inequalities in our local area, and removing it runs the risk of exacerbating existing inequalities. And finally, I believe strongly that the low traffic neighborhood and other efforts to improve our physical environments represent a fundamental opportunity for systems change. We are in the midst of multiple crises, a climate crisis, an obesity epidemic, just to name a few. The modal filter has changed how residents, and particularly children, are interacting with their environment. It's giving us spaces where we can walk and play, and we can cycle safely to school, to our places of employment, where children are playing without inhaling harmful pollutants, and where we're developing habits around active travel and utilizing the outdoors for physical activity. We should not reverse such progress. We understand that other residents have concerns about traffic displacement. We look forward to the data on this. And where traffic displacement occurs, it should be addressed through holistic measures. But in the meantime, I think it's uncontroversial to say that nobody wants to be on a residential road that is clogged with traffic. So our fundamental goal should be to reduce traffic across the entire local area. But removing the modal filter on King Charles Road would be a backward step in pursuit of such a goal, particularly when the Council is committed to seeking holistic solutions to improve air quality, to increase active travel opportunities, and to address climate change. The modal filter has seen some clear successes. There are visibly more pedestrians and cyclists using the air is cleaner, local residents feel safer, and children are thriving in an environment that supports them. So we thank the councillors that did implement the barrier. We urge you to keep it in place and to continue to address local traffic congestion by taking a holistic perspective that creates positive change for all residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. McGill. So this brings a close to this agenda item. Members of the public are welcome to stay or leave if they so wish. Thank you again to our speakers tonight. Okay, I'll give people a moment to leave, and then we'll move on to item 8, which is okay. Shall we? We'll pause for a couple of minutes while people leave. Okay, thank you very much. We'll continue now. So we now have item 8, the Riverside Controlled Parking Zone Review. And members of the committee and meeting participants may refer to Appendix C of the agenda pack. So I'd like to first invite Eunice Amade, the Council's principal engineer, to introduce the report. Please.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry. Okay, we received a couple of petitions a couple of years ago, but unfortunately we haven't had time to do our consultation at that time. But in May 2023, we sent 1,200 letter to the resident who live within Riverside CPZ, because the petition we received, it was from St. Andrews Square and from Westfield, because they are not happy about the current situation in their road. So on the 22nd of May up to the 16th of June 2023, we sent 1,200 letters. We received back 262, which is the response rate 22%. Now, out of this, we asked the first question. We asked them, how do you feel about the times and days of the existing CPZ, which is currently Monday till Friday, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. So we have 43%, they are happy and very happy with the existing. And we have 41% where they are unhappy or very unhappy about the existing CPZ timing and date in their road. So the second question, we asked the resident, would you like us to change? So we put several options. We said, would you like us to change it to Monday till Saturday, 8:30 till 6:30 p.m.? We have only 11% supporting it. We say, would you like to change it between Monday to Saturday, including Sunday, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m.? We have 28% support. Then the other bit, which is about extension of the hours of operation, Monday till Friday, 8:30 till 6:30, we have 3%. Then we ask the normal question, leave it as it is and do nothing. And we have 48% support of leave it as it is and do nothing. However, looking into question 3, because the petition, I think I want to make members aware, St. Andrews Square, it is at the periphery between Zone R, Riverside, and Zone S, Surbiton. So the residents who live in Zone S, Surbiton, from Maple Road, they can go and park in St. Andrews Square, who is Zone R. And St. Andrews Square, who's Zone R, they can go and park in Zone S, which is Maple Road. However, the difference is the zone in Maple Road operate between Monday till Friday, 8:30 to 6:30. But the one in St. Andrews Square operate between 10 till, I forgot what I said before, till 4. So the complaint we are receiving at the moment is about people who live in St. Andrews Square. They're saying a lot of people who go to Maple Road, because they can't park in Maple Road, there is a restriction. St. Andrews Square, they don't have restriction after 4 o'clock, so they are using St. Andrews Square to park free. So their concern is, because it's free, when they come back from work, they can't find anywhere to park because all the parking bay has been taken away by commuters or people coming to the restaurant or somewhere in Maple Road. So looking into all the comment we have received, I'm asking members if we can, actually if members, they can see as well in the report itself, sorry, I'm just giving you very flavor because the report have all the details you want. And even the report, it shows road by road result of the consultation and what is their comment in each one of them. So based on that, and in order to address some of the residents of St. Andrew Square, I'm asking members to, the result of the consultation conducted for the Riverside be noted. Secondly, the hours and date of parking restriction for St. Andrew Square be changed from Monday till Friday, 10 a.m. till 4 p.m., till Monday till Saturday, 8 a.m. till 6:30 p.m., subject to traffic management order. And for us to inform, and officers to inform all property in the area of the committee decision. So what I'm asking members to do here, for the residents who live in St. Andrew Square, to introduce similar, or the periphery, similar time and date as Maple Road, so nobody who is in Maple Road want to go to the restaurant, he can't come to St. Andrew Square. However, I have to say it, there is a possibility they may go to the next road, but it is something it may and it may not happen because St. Andrew Square, it is the first road, it makes a lot of sense for people to go and park there. But I cannot guarantee that will not happen the minute people is no longer parking in St. Andrew, they're gonna go to the next one up where the restriction finish at 4 o'clock, Monday till Friday. However, all of these changes, what I'm asking members to approve, is going to be subject to statutory consultation where there is a traffic management orders. So we will be advertising, and if there is objection, we'll come back here and to take it with you. I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Eunice. I understand there are no members of the public wishing to speak on this this matter. So I'll now move from the chair of the recommendations at the front of the report on page C1, which Eunice just read out a minute ago. Does anybody need me to read those out again? Okay. Do I have a second?
Happy to second.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. And so if there anybody who wishes to speak on this matter, please raise your hand. Councillor Green.
I did wonder whether it was worth taking questions first, Chair.
Yes.
I don't have a question, I have a comment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, that's fine. I thought we could probably quite effectively blend the two together, but we'll take questions first. So, Councillor Gonzalez.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Eunice, for going through the report. You mentioned that there's the risk that the boundary could just shift. And looking at the responses, I think in my view, the only clear response here is that people would be happy to stop allowing people with the S-zone permits to park on St. Andrews Square. Wouldn't that be, why is that not the recommendation? So why is the recommendation not to do that and instead to change the hours of St. Andrews Square? Because
do you have your microphone on?
Sorry, Chair. If you look to the questionnaire, the second questionnaire, we did ask the resident if they would like to change the hours from 8:30 till 8 till 10, Monday till Saturday. But overall, there was no support. But talking to the ward members and looking into the comment received, we felt to address St. Andrew Square issues of concern will be good if we introduce such a measure. Then we can review it later on to see what impact that is going to have on the surrounding road if it is needed any extra work to be done. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay. Councillor Green, did you wish to come in on that?
Yeah, I can answer probably as well. So I had a conversation on behalf of the ward councillors with Eunice. This consultation was undertaken in R zone, so the Riverside zone. The residents on Maple Road directly outside St Andrew's Square live in S zone, so they were not consulted. The Maple Road you see on here is further down Maple Road towards Kingston, who are in R zone because of the weird way they all got introduced over time. So one of the things that concerns us, and we know because some residents from Maple Road have contacted us, is... Sorry, can I go back in time? So Jürgen and I were councillors when this was introduced, the R zone, well, and the S zone. And the reason that it was put in that St Andrew's Square could have S zone parking in it is it was recognised those residents of Maple Road at the end by Brighton Road really struggle with anywhere to park. The rest of Zone S is nowhere near them because of the layout of the zones. So that's why they got given Zone S and Zone R originally. If we were to change St Andrew's Square purely into Zone R, then we would have to consult the residents of Maple Road, some of whom have contacted us to say they would object to that because their parking would be restricted because they wouldn't be able to park opposite. So whilst this is not a perfect answer, but this is highways, is there ever a perfect answer? This will help St Andrew's Square because it will stop that parking on a Saturday and stop the parking between 4:30 and 6, between 4 to 6:30, where people are parking there because they're out of the hours, but Maple Road isn't and they don't want to park on a meter. So it goes some way towards alleviating it without the Maple Road residents being restricted particularly, which would happen if it was Zone R only in St Andrew's Square, if that makes sense, hopefully. And that's why it's a slight compromise, I feel, but I think it's one that we should try before, and if that doesn't work, if St Andrew's Square come back to us with another petition or contact us as ward councillors, we may have to look at it again. But if this relieves the worst of their problems, then I think that it's something that they can live with. I mean, the problem is, it's all converted flats in that whole area, where outside the front of their properties is enough space for 2 cars maximum, and you've usually got 4+ flats in that converted house, many of whom do have cars, not all by a long shot. So there are too many cars on the road. So it is about trying to be fair to everybody rather than favour St Andrew's Square over Maple Road, or as it is at the moment, favour Maple Road over St Andrew's Square.
Okay, does that, any further questions, Councillor Gonzalez? Councillor Wooldridge, did you have a question?
I'm going to withdraw because I think Liz Green has summed up, very, very well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor. And Councillor Hurlinger.
Just to confirm, there's no mention about Sundays or bank holidays. I presume there's going to be no changes on either of those.
Wherever we have in Maple Road in the existing traffic management order will be reflected in St Andrew's Square here. So if there is, but as far as I'm aware, there isn't, because if there is, a sign should reflect to say bank holiday is included in the restriction. So there is no change from wherever they're at the moment.
Just to clarify, my understanding is Sundays are not included pretty much anywhere in Surbiton. I think we might have one road with them, Cottage Grove possibly. But most of Surbiton doesn't include Sundays. Bank holidays, I don't think are included, but we can certainly make sure that that is clarified. But it wouldn't change whether, it would only change the hours on the bank holidays, not whether they were included or not included. If you see what I mean.
Do you have any further questions, Councillor? Does anybody, any further questions for the Highways team? Okay, and Councillor Green, I think you had a comment.
Yeah, it was just to say that I think, as I've already said, I think this is a reasonable compromise. I may ask the officers to look again at Grove Road, where I haven't got my gloss on that, 71% were unhappy. Now, Grove Road, people may know, is actually in two parts, either side of Maple Road, so it comes up to just over there, up to the Crescent, and it goes from Maple Road down to Portsmouth Road. So we may have a look at whether those responses are from the bit that's nearer the town centre, because, again, that might be a similar problem because they're nearer Zone S for the Central Surbiton Zone rather than Zone R. But at the moment, we're not proposing any changes to that, but we may have another look at that and another chat with some of the residents of that part of Grove Road. Just because that's another outstanding figure on here that clearly a lot of people in Grove Road are upset or unhappy with the hours.
Thank you, Councillor. Are there any further comments? Are there, okay, any further comments? No, okay. So, right, can I take that as unanimous, or do we need to vote, councillors? Okay, hearing no opposition, I'll take that as unanimous. Thank you very much. Right, we move on to item 9. The work programme. Would members please note the work programme of the committee at Appendix D of the agenda? As I mentioned in my announcement at the beginning of the meeting, the date for the Tolworth Healthy Street scheme is now set for the 21st of March next year, and also mentioned the beginning of the consultation process in January. Democratic Services will update the work programme in its next issue. Is that correct? Yes. Thank you very much, Herman. Do members have any comments? Councillor.
It's good that you've got the dates there, but I'm not sure that the description decision that we're going is actually reflects what we're doing at the Tolworth area, healthy streets. I think it needs to be, because we haven't actually implemented anything yet, have we? We've taken out what was implemented. So I don't think it reads properly. So it just needs to be changed.
Okay, that should read proposed instead of implemented, I believe. So yes, well spotted. And I assume Democratic Services will make the appropriate amendment. Any further comments?
All good here.
Good. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And there's no urgent items, so I'll close the meeting at 8:49. Thank you very much.